Hi everybody, this is Kim. Welcome back. This is episode 2 of the 10 top tips for new Doordash drivers. I split it up because the video was way too long when I had it all in one long stream before. So I've broken it up into 2 videos. I've already posted tips 1 through 5. So if you have not watched those yet, you might want to do that. But otherwise, let's get started. Please subscribe. I'd really appreciate that. And we're going to start directly with, I'm going to put a link right up here with tips 1 through 5. Sorry. And now we're going to go on. Tip number 6, communication. This is probably the most important tip I have for you. Make sure to communicate with the customers if anything is delaying you. I do it by text. I don't call them unless it's absolutely necessary. And I always try to be friendly. And if the customer is getting nasty, just hold it together and just try to be positive and friendly and get the point across without joining them in the negativity, basically. If you reach out to them and tell them what's going on, 90% of the customers will appreciate it. I've never had anybody mad because I texted them and told them their food's going to be a little bit late or whatever. Don't be a pest and don't call them unnecessarily. Don't just call for the heck of it like, hey, I just got your order. I'm going to come deliver it to your house. They know you're coming. That's the whole idea of this. Don't call unless there's a problem. Don't bother them. Here are some examples of texts that I do send. Hey, just a heads up, I'm still waiting for your food. The restaurant said it's going to be ready in 5 to 10 minutes, or whatever the restaurant tells you. Or, I'm having trouble finding your apartment. Can you help me find you? Where should I park? Etc. Then, there are some reasons that you need to call, unfortunately. So the restaurant needs to substitute an item. They are not responding to your text. Like, hey, I'm texting you. They don't have any French fries or onion rings, okay? And they're not responding back to you. You can't just arbitrarily make these decisions on your own. It's not your order. Or if you need a gate code and they're not responding, hey, I'm at the gate. What's the code? Blah, blah, blah. I need to get in. Then you need to call them because you don't want to sit there, keep texting and waiting. Just call them. If it's a hand it to me delivery and they're not answering the door or responding to your text, then you need to call them. Hey, come on, I'm here. I've got your food, This is a huge tip right here. So remember this. So if it's a hand it to me order, as soon as you arrive at the house, click that you've arrived, and then click the link that says you can't hand the food to the customer. Do this as soon as you get there because there's a 5-minute timer. So the sooner you click that, it starts the 5-minute timer. Once you do hand it to them, whether it's 1 minute, 2 minutes, 3 minutes in, it doesn't really matter. Just click that you completed the delivery. But that 5-minute timer becomes important because if the person is not responding, if they're not answering the door, if they're not answering your calls, you have to wait 5 minutes. And then you can leave the food, take a picture, and go. But if you wait until 3 minutes in and then start the timer, then that's 8 minutes of your time. So start that timer right away. Even if they answer the door right away, it's great. Okay, I click that you completed the delivery and you're done. But that just saves you in the event that they don't answer the door and they're not responding to you. I wanted to say something real quick because last night I was at Cheesecake Factory. The food was taking forever. Normally I would have just unassigned, but I had been texting with a customer and she was so funny. Please don't leave. Bring me my food. I really want that cheesecake. Anyways, this interaction with the customer was just fantastic. And I decided to hang out a little longer. The Cheesecake Factory people were so nice and they kept telling me they ran out of bread. So they were baking some bread and that's what the delay was. This was like 9 o'clock at night. Anyways, so I'm waiting. We're chatting back and forth. I'm texting her. I'm like, okay, they said this. They said now it's only 5 minutes away. La 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 la. They're bagging up a bunch of orders. Hopefully yours is in there. And the lady's just responding back. We're just having this great conversation over text. And then I got her food. I'm like, oh my God, I got your food. I'm so excited, la la la. And she's like, oh, thank you so much for waiting. I have a cash tip for you. And I'm thinking, oh yeah, sure. Okay, whatever. I don't care. I wasn't really doing it expecting anything extra. I was just really enjoying the interaction that we were having, and it was funny. And I get there, and she had already tipped $16 in the app, and she handed me a $20 bill. That was a $36 tip. And that extra $20 was because I communicated with her and let her know what was going on. So, I mean, that was a huge tip. So that was awesome. So this is really important. Keep this in mind. Okay, moving on. Oh, and if a customer texts me a thank you, like after I've left and delivered their food, I always respond, say, you're welcome, have a great day, whatever. Because they take the time to thank you, I think it's worth a response. And always be polite to the people working at the restaurants. This I see so often, and it really bothers me when the delivery drivers are just really nasty to the people working at the restaurants. You know, it's not their fault the food's taking a long time. It's not their fault that, you know, there's a line to pick up the food or whatever. So just be friendly. You know what? They're going to remember you when you come back next time. And if you were nasty, they're not going to go out of their way to help you. Anyways, okay, so tip number 7, hidden tips. DoorDash sometimes hides tips. I have some examples coming, but don't count on there being more tip. So like if you get an order and it says, it's $8, it might only be $8, but it could be more. So anyways, if you accept an order and there's a hidden tip, you will see the full amount after you deliver the food. Once you've hit complete that I've delivered it, then you're going to see the hidden tip. You're going to see the total amount of what your earnings are, basically. If there's a hidden tip, great. But if you accept a $7 order, make sure that you are happy with only getting $7, because a big percentage of the time, that's what you get. Most of the time, you're going to get face value. Whatever that offer said, that's what you're going to get. But because base pay varies in my area, from $3.25 to $7 or so. I still don't 100% understand how they determine the base pay, but anyways, base pay is what DoorDash is paying you. Anything over the base pay is the tip from the customer and or peak pay. My strategy is not to accept anything under $10. And even at $10, no more than 5 miles. Unless it's from an expensive restaurant and there are more than 1 or 2 items. The app will tell you how many items are in there, and it's going to a nice area of town. So let's say it's a $12.25 offer going 8 miles from the Cheesecake Factory, and the person ordered 10 items. I'll take that every single time. To me, it's worth the risk because I think there's probably a hidden tip in there. Just because that I'm not even counting the miles, okay, but I'm looking at, okay, they ordered 10 items. Cheesecake Factory is pretty expensive. And chances are they're going to tip accordingly. Maybe not 20%, maybe even not 10%, but they might throw in $10 or something. To me, it's worth the risk. It may be a 20 plus delivery. And even if it's not, it's still $12.25, which isn't horrible. Yes, it's not my typical, I like to have $2 per mile. So that would be $16 here for an 8-mile delivery. But to me, it's worth the risk to try and see if there's a hidden tip. I've kind of noticed that anything $9.75 and above are where the hidden tips arise in my market. I know it's different everywhere. Some people say $6 ones have hidden tips. I don't really know. In my specific area, I've kind of noticed it $9.75 and above. Everything under $9.75, I have never seen a hidden tip. That doesn't mean it doesn't exist. I just personally have not seen that. I still don't understand why they hide the tips or hide part of the tip. You can watch some of my other videos to see what I'm talking about. Sometimes they'll hide a penny or 50 cents. Why? I don't know. It's silly. It's just ridiculous. But anyways, in my experience, anything over $9.75 has a possibility of a hidden tip, like I said. Under that, not so much. I like to try to choose the orders that have hidden tips, but of course there's no way for me to know which one actually do have a hidden tip. It's kind of a game, and I treat it as a bonus when the hidden tip shows up. There is an app that people are using that shows the full tip. I'm not going to condone it. I don't think it's a great idea to use a third-party app, but that's up to you. So anyways, I just want to let you know that that is out there. Okay, so anyways, here's some examples of a hidden tip. These are actual deliveries that I did. So here you go. I accepted this offer as 4 items, 3.5 miles total for $11. I'm like, okay, that's great. That's more than my $2 per mile. It's under 5 miles, which I really like. So I'm going to go ahead and take this. And here I got a hidden tip. So it said 11, but I actually got $11.50. So they hit a whole 50 cents. Why? I don't know. It would not have changed whether I was going to take it or not if it was 11 or $11.50. So anyways, silly. Here's a nice one. So this one was a 8.1 mile delivery with 4 items. Wood Ranch is pretty expensive, and I knew that. And I was thinking, okay, the base pay was probably $5 or $6. So I'm thinking, oh, they're probably going to tip, more than in my head I was thinking they'd probably tip at least. Well, the dog's barking. Sorry, at least $10. So then I figured that'd be like 16 or whatever. Perfect for 8 miles, $16. Well, I was really surprised because it was actually a $19.25 total payout. It was $6.25 was the base pay and $13 tip, which was fantastic. So this was a hidden tip that I really appreciated. I would have still done it for the $12.75, obviously, because I did accept it, and I would have been happy with the $12.75, but I was happier with the $19.25. So those are examples of some hidden tips. My next tip, number 8, is stacked orders. These can be a little tricky. They're straightforward to accept, pick up the food, and deliver. I mean, it's just like a single order, but you're going to 2 places and delivering to 2 houses. Well, actually, that's not really true, but anyways, knowing whether to accept or decline is the tricky part. You need to zoom in on the map, look where the restaurants are and where the homes are, because the homes are not always close together. Usually the restaurants are, but the homes generally are not. I mean, a lot of times they are, but you need to look at the map. And what is the total mileage? Does it meet your minimum? If you're going 14 miles and they're offering $12 for this stacked order, it's not going to be worth your while. That's less than $1 a mile. So you need to look at the whole offer bit by bit and look at each thing before you decide whether you're going to take it or not. And note this. Typically, they'll mix a low tip delivery with a better tip delivery. So let's say they have a $4 offer going like 6 miles or something, and the person did not tip or tipped $1. And let's say it's, and then the other person in the stacked order, they tipped large. Let's say that was a $15, tip, not a $50 tip, but a $15 total payout. And then the $4 pay. So that's $19 for this stacked offer, but one person didn't tip at all and one person tipped great. So this person is basically subsidizing the low tip person. This happens a lot. So you have to kind of also think about that when you're looking at the offer that you have. Sometimes stacked orders have 1 restaurant and 2 customers. So you're going to go to Lazy Dog and pick up 2 orders, 1 for John and 1 for Joe. Okay. Sometimes they have 2 restaurants for 1 customer. So like one customer could have a 7-Eleven and a BJ's or something. So you're going to go to both places, pick up, and deliver to the 1 customer. I like these. I like where you're going because they know you're going 2 places. So they're not upset waiting for you to go to 7-Eleven while their other food is there. You know what I mean? This is the best scenario as far as I'm concerned. But other times it's 2 restaurants and 2 customers. Sometimes the customers are off in separate directions. If that's the case, do not accept because the customer sees on the navigation where you're going. And if you're going to the complete opposite direction, they're going to be mad. Walmarts are 1 store and multiple customers. I'll show you one with 6 actual deliveries and 1 offer, which is crazy. I don't do Walmarts. I just decline them automatically. But anyways. Okay, so this is an example of a stacked order. So you're already at a restaurant, or you could be on your way. Anyways, and they notice that this one is nearby, so they offer it to you. So this is an additional 2.5 miles out of your way. I zoomed down on the map so you couldn't really see, but I think the other delivery was right up in here. So I was already at Cheesecake Factory. So this was another order at Cheesecake Factory. And they were going to pay me $11.50 to go this extra 2.5 miles. Awesome. I'll grab that every time. So I did take it. Yeah, so that's one kind of stacked. So this was a 2-restaurant, 2-customer stacked offer. So if you look at this map, these are both the restaurants right here. They're right next to each other, Crazy King Kong Sushi and Mr. Beast Burger. They're both in the same little mall. You can walk from one to the other. Great. This first customer is super close. That's awesome. But this one's really far. On the map, if you don't zoom in, you will not realize how far away it is. It says only 8.1 miles, but this is not a freeway. This is a regular street with all sorts of stop signs. And then this is kind of like a rural area. So this could take probably 20 minutes to get from the restaurant to that house, and then another 20 minutes back. So you figure you're going to spend at least probably close to an hour delivering these two, and you're only going to get $15.25. And remember what I said about the tipping. One may tip well, the other may tip poorly. This Mr. Beast Burger is always like 20 minutes late with the food, so this person's food's going to be getting cold while you're waiting for this one. This is just a bad idea. Bad idea. Anyways, okay, so then here is one restaurant with 2 orders, okay? It's only $10.75. It seems like it might be quick and easy, but Chipotle is really hit or miss. You could be waiting for a long time, and it's only $10.75, so that means each one is 5 something, or a $4.75 and a $6, which are both under my minimums. Yes, it could be very quick, but maybe not. So if this was, like $15, I probably would have taken it, because this house is maybe 5 minutes from here, and this one's maybe 5 or 10 minutes from there, depending on traffic and stuff like that. But I'm not going to do it for $10.75. So I declined it, and just because of the $10.75. Okay, now here's the Walmart one I was talking about. This is 6 orders, okay? So you're only going to go to one store. You're going to go to Walmart and pick up 6 orders. Okay, so this is 17.7 miles. Oh, this is that same neighborhood that I said was like 20 minutes away. So I'm not sure how each delivery, how long it takes. I don't even know how you would fit this all in your car. They told, somewhere I read that you have to have 6 distinct areas in your car. Like if you're picking up 6 orders, you have to have 6 distinct areas in the car so that if you can't separate the orders, they won't let you take them. It says 6 items. I find it hard to believe that it's only 6 items. I have no idea, but you would have to have a pretty decent sized car to do this. And I don't even know how long it would take. So yeah, it's $33, but you're going to pick up here. Well, here's actually the Walmart. Drive to this house, park, drag whatever it is to their house, go back to your car, drive to the next house, park, drag whatever it is to that house, go back to your car, so on and so forth. And this one, you remember, is like 20 minutes away. So I have no idea, 2-3 hours it might take. I don't even know. But I don't take Walmarts, especially not one with 6 orders. So don't let that $33 entice you. Now, it's going to take a lot of time. Okay, tip number 9 is peak pay. So peak pay is a bonus pay that is offered sometimes during busy times. Like last night, this is Memorial Day weekend, they had $1.50 peak pay. It started at like 9 o'clock or something like that. So for every order, you're getting an extra $1.50. They add peak pay to incentivize Dashers to come out and drive. It's a pro and a con. It's a pro because you can make more money per delivery, but it's a con because it brings out more drivers, so you won't get as many offers. If there's a large peak pay, I just stay home. Like if there was a $2 or $3 peak pay, I wouldn't even go out. Because normal circumstances, let's say this is arbitrary numbers here. Let's say there's 10 drivers and 50 orders. The odds of getting an order is about 20%. Okay, you get about 20% of these 50. So that's 10 is 20% of 50. Now, let's say instead of 10 drivers, there's 50 drivers, but there's still those same 50 orders. Your odds of getting offers are greatly reduced. And you may only get offered one, and it's going to be a $4 delivery going 11 miles or something. So you're not even going to be able to take it. So, yeah, when there's the big peak pay, I just stay home. You also need to keep in mind that there's a peak pay when you're accepting orders. So if you're looking for a hidden tip, like I said, in my market, it's like $9.75 and above. So let's say it's a $9.75 offer. Okay, but it's a $2 peak pay. That's really only a $7.75 offer. So there's not going to be an added tip on that one. So you have to keep that in mind when you're, if you're trying to get the hidden tips. So here I just said that about the hidden tip. So you also need to keep in, so like if it's let's use this example here. Okay, it's a $9 offer, there's a $3 peak pay. So that's really a $6 offer. So all you're going to get is $9. And since all you're getting is $9, if you're doing the $2 per mile thing, I'm doing $2 per mile because gas here is like $4.65 a gallon. Okay, I know some other areas it's a lot cheaper, and you may only go for $1 a mile, which is great. I'm talking about Southern California money here. So I would never take anything more than 4 miles because then I'm pushing it over my 2. It'll be less than $2 a mile. And remember, you're driving to the house and then back to the restaurant areas. So take that mile into consideration too. You're going to deadhead back if that house is off in, the boonies somewhere and not near any restaurants. You have to take into account that time it's going to take you to get back down where the restaurants are. Okay, tip 10A. This is tip 10, but there's 2 parts to it. A, keep track of your mileage. Mileage is a tax write-off. We are independent contractors, so you are responsible for all your own expenses, your car, your insurance, your gas, maintenance, etc. The current mileage write-off for 2021, I looked it up, the federal mileage reimbursement is 56 cents a mile. So here's an example. You make a total of $100 one day, and you drove 50 miles. Your mileage deduction for that day is 50 miles times the 56 cents is $28. So you subtract the $28 from the 100 you earned, and now 100 minus 28 is 72. 72 is your taxable income instead of $100. So you'll owe less tax. So anyways, I hope that made sense. And keep in mind, I am not a tax professional. This is not tax advice. Please talk to a professional for guidance. I just wanted to illustrate why it's important to keep track of your mileage. At the end of the year, you want to know that number so that you can write off your mileage and not pay as much in taxes. So here's tip 10B. This is the second part of tip 10. Put aside money to pay taxes. So speaking of taxes, as an independent contractor, you're responsible to pay taxes on the money that you earn delivering food or any other side gig. You're going to get a 1099 at the end of the year, and you're going to owe money on that. I personally set aside 30% of my earnings for taxes. I don't think I'm going to owe near that much, but that gives me a cushion. I just want to make sure I have more than enough. And also if I have to fix the car or something like that, I have money in there. This also depends what tax bracket you're in, your expenses, and other things. Like I said, please talk to a tax professional. I am not a tax professional. I'm just a regular person. I just wanted to tell you what I'm personally doing. You don't want to spend every penny that you've received and then get a huge tax bill at tax time. That would be terrible. When you work for a company, they withhold taxes for you. But as an independent contractor, you're responsible to do that for yourself. Remember that the income from gig work is not pure profit. You are going to have to pay taxes. Just keep that in the back of your mind. So here is a bonus tip from one of my followers, James Hess. He commented on my last video with a great tip I didn't really think about. So if you're at a restaurant and the food is taking forever, you don't have to unassign it in order to avoid counting against your late rating. You can call support and tell them that you want to stick with it, but that the food is taking a very long time. Tell them that you're willing to stay and wait, but you don't want it to count against you. They will usually not charge a late penalty, and they may even give you extra money for staying. I personally have never received any extra pay, but I have had them noted on the delivery not to penalize my late time rating, and it didn't. So that was good. So thanks, James, for the tip. That was awesome. So anyways, those are my 10 plus the bonus tip for new dashers. I hope this was helpful. I hope it helps clear the air on some things and helps make starting dashing a little bit more fun and not as stressful. Anyways, thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.